All right, everybody. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Happy Friday, people. This is a departure from what we normally do. I am so, alhamdulillah, man. This is our last Friday in Ramadan. So I figured, we'd have a little fun. We've had some great topics from the beginning of Ramadan to now. I want to thank everybody in advance and even after the show, man, for making this show really successful, allowing me to work on my format, allowing me to work on the progress of the show, interacting with people, giving the shout outs, raising money. I mean, we've had an incredible month. But this day, I wanted to just frame as just a Friday Funnies type of day. So if you have some things that you would like to talk about on the shout out show, this would be a great time for you to hit that comment section, YouTube or whatever. Don't forget to hit the like button, subscribe button. I don't mind either one or both, but hit me up. I'm thinking about some topics. I write my topics down. I'm very old school. I write my topics down. And I'm thinking about some of the things that we are learning to get used to. One of them is social distancing. I know that is a big thing with everybody. Social distancing, that is a new word, a new term that we have introduced because of the COVID economy. But let's be honest, social distancing has been socially necessary. In some regards, I find that it has been a perfect excuse to not see or deal with people I don't want to deal with. I know that sounds bad during Ramadan, but let's be honest. We've been good. We've been upstanding. We've been righteous all the way to Ramadan, but we got one day left. I might as well get this off my chest. There's some people who've been needing social distancing for a very long time. I don't want to be around them. I'm talking about people that borrow money from you when they know they owe money. I don't need to be around you. I'm talking about people who are known to borrow stuff and don't give it back. That's social distancing. I'm talking about people who come to your house when, what's going on, Sister Reed? Social distancing, these are people that need to be socially distanced. People that come to your house when you're cooking food and they dip something into a pot of food, eat it, and put the spoon back in. That is a cause for social distancing. Not even a cause for social distancing. That's more like a cause for social arrest. And I'm saying, there's some people that need to be socially distanced. People who call your house about a bill, they know you don't have the money. You didn't have the money last month, a month before, and you're like, you are just practicing your communication skills because I don't have the money. That's what it is. That is what it is. People who say, hey, listen, let me take you out for lunch. Then you go for lunch and you get the bill. That is a cause for social distancing. Now, I'm not talking about people who cheat. I'm just talking about people who don't like to do what they need to do. Okay, here's another one. People who don't listen to you, get sick, still don't listen to you, call you up about what? Being sick. Right there, that's a cause for social distancing. All right. People who don't understand technology but try to use it anyway. That's a cause for social distancing. I'm not saying they're annoying people. We love them. We love them. I think the only point is, it's just the amount of energy you're going to put into an individual or a group of people who just don't understand technology and don't want to understand technology. However, they want you to deal with it. Case in point, I love my pops. All right, I love my dad. He's out in Albuquerque. Funny dude. You think I'm funny? He's a funny dude. My father, for a period of years, wanted to get a new car. I'm like, all right, pops, whatever you need, get the car. I'll give you some money. Whatever, get the car. He kept talking about, this is my car. This is my car. He's in his late 70s. He's like, this is going to be my last car. Next car is going to be hers. I'm like, all right, I don't know. We're going with this conversation, but okay, pops. So he calls me up. He's very excited. He gets the car. I'm like, oh, boy. He goes, yeah, but I got to handle. So what do you got to handle? So he had an old phone, like an old flip phone, track phone. And his whole idea was, listen, I got this brand new car, this Lincoln. I need to get a phone so I can hook it in and integrate it with, the communication system. No problem. So he goes, I don't know what it was, Verizon or something like that. He gets the phone and he called me on the phone. I'm like, hey, Pops, da da da. So he hang up from my conversation. 15 minutes later, 20 minutes later, the phone starts ringing. Bring, bring. I'm like, hey, what's going on? And I'm like, I realize, he's not hearing, like, Pops, what's going on? And just hear, cussing, da, 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 and I realized that, Pops, hey, stop cussing. What's going on? What's happening? I'm worried. So I hang the phone up, immediately call him back. I'm like, Pops, what is going on? Why are you making all this noise? He goes, doggone phone won't work in the car. And I'm like, what do you mean won't work? He says, it won't work in the car. I said, well, what are you trying to do? And blah, he looks at me he, on the phone. He goes, the phone won't work. He said, I've been dealing with this thing. He says, I'm trying to hook up the Bluetooth. I said, what? He said, I'm trying to hook up the Bluetooth. Now, I know what he said. I know what he meant. But the evil inside my heart said, get him to say it one more time. I said, what, Pops? He said, the Bluetooth, the Bluetooth. At that point, he realized it was Bluetooth. But come on, those moments are precious. So Pops is, I got a little tongue lashing, but I'm like, those things are funny. Those things are funny. I'm not saying my father should be socially distanced from technology. He actually does pretty well with it. But come on. When somebody says they're trying to hook up the Bluetooth in the car, like there's a molar in the back of your car, the Bluetooth, that probably would have been a better name than Bluetooth. Like one through Bluetooth, it's actually kind of catchy. I might have to copyright that, trademark it. And I like to go to my next thing, the way that Muslims give shade. Let me show you. Muslims, we're very kind people, but we'll slide some shade in on you. We don't care who you are. Like the brother that gets married and you don't see him for 6-7 months, and he's dealing with his new wife. He's not coming out. He's not hanging out with the fellas. We see him and he's put on a couple pounds. We can't say something nice like, hey man, looks like your wife is a good cook. I couldn't do it. I saw a brother. I love this brother. I couldn't say it. I saw he put on like 15 pounds. I wanted to say, hey, you're looking good, or your wife is a good cook. All I can think of in my mind is, hey, dude, look like you're retaining wudu. And my point is, I don't know if it's halal shade, but I'm a specialist in halal shade. I'm gonna give you guys an example of halal shade. Our president of the United States, that's a whole nother conversation in of itself. Okay. Lately he has been showing out without a mask. Everyone else has a mask on. He doesn't have a mask. He's super Donald, super dumb. Take your choice. But he has this thing, and someone asked him, "Oh, you're not taking a mask?" And this guy says, he goes, he admits to he's taking hydroxychloroquine, and you say that in a group of Muslims, this is the reaction you get. Hey, I heard Donald Trump is taking hydroxychloroquine, and the other Muslim goes, yeah, in that stuff it could kill people, and another Muslim goes, yeah, alhamdulillah. Alhamdulillah. And I'm just saying, man, I'm not saying maybe that's what's wrong with him. Maybe he's been taking that hydroxychloroquine for a very long time because he says things that don't make sense. Like, he said, yeah, more people are dying because we're doing more testing. More people are dying because we're doing more testing. I'm like, more people are dying because they're dying. Or my favorite one, more people are testing positive for coronavirus because we're testing. I'm like, no, it means more people have coronavirus. See what I'm saying? You see what I'm saying? That's all I'm saying. I'm looking at these people and I'm like, how did you get this job? How did you get this job? I'm looking at, having to possibly pivot in my career due to COVID-19. Live events are going to be off the rail for a while. You guys may not see me doing stand-up for quite a long time, except on virtual. And that's weird doing stand-up on a virtual screen because there's no reaction. Like stand-up is really, emotive. You know, I say something, you react, all that type of stuff. But I mean, you might not see me, and I'm thinking, you know, what's a job that doesn't require a lot of skills? Evidently, being president of the United States does not require a lot of skills. What it requires is a very, very bad diet, a lot of tanning, and taking a lot of hydroxychloroquine. Alhamdulillah. Okay. Um, my second thing is people who go to spots. They don't practice social distancing and they don't wear a mask, but you're supposed to be cool with them. Like, I don't know if that happens to people. Like before this whole thing of COVID-19, I had a big deal with people who cough and don't cover their mouth. Like, I mean, you know, you're sick, you got a hack. Like, one guy was coughing like, and he just wasn't covering his mouth. And I tried to say something subtle. Hey, man, that's a bad cough. Do you work in a coal mine? That's what I'm saying. Do you work in a coal mine? Because even with a coal mine, you might want to cough that, you know. I'm like, dude, if you don't smoke, you should start. That's the way I felt about it. If you don't smoke, you should start. It's sort of like back in the day, you know, like back in the day when you know, when people would do the adhan, it's like going to church. And people, you know, there are people in church that have the best intentions. People in the masjid have the best intentions, but they don't have the best voices. And we can be spiritual as we want to. We love these people. We are supportive of them. But I don't want to necessarily hear you sing. In some regards, I'm like, I've never really heard the adhan sung that way. I heard one brother sing the adhan, and halfway through it, he started going through it in English. I was like, I think that's breaking the rules. I think that's breaking the rules. He's like, Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. In the name, I was like, dude, we don't need subtitles. Keep it moving. Okay. We also have Eid coming up. Eid is going to be Eid is a big deal. It's going to be at home. But let's be honest, folks. Eid is going to be a disappointment for some of us because you're going to find out the person that you love and committed your life to and you would die for, you take a bullet for them, but they couldn't make water at room temperature. I'm talking about the ability to cook. Some people gonna find out my baby can't cook. Yeah, you're gonna be Uber eating it. You know, call early because it is Ramadan. You won't be the only one Uber eating it. So make sure you do that. Check it out. My other thing also is e-gifts. Eid gifts. So a lot of y'all are off the hook for Eid gifts. You can use whatever excuse. Look, I was afraid of COVID. I didn't have a mask. They weren't social distancing. This is going to be your cheapest Eid that you can ever get away with. Basically, you can call people. You don't have to worry about people coming over your house. You don't have to show up anybody. I mean, yeah, you do the Eid prayer in your house. I mean, I did virtual Juma today. You know, I did virtual Juma. The only thing about virtual Juma is you miss 4 or 5 people having their own conversation while the khutbah is going on. That's the only thing about virtual Juma. That's the only thing you literally remove. You know, I go with the WD Muhammad community, so there's some things I do miss. There's a brother that sells the Muslim Journal, except for the Muslim, just like in the Muslim Journal, he's selling like 5 years old, 10 years old, 15 years old. I got one. I'm like, I thought the man passed. That's funny, but I'm just saying. And there's also a dude, I don't know if he happens, if you run into this guy, there's a guy, seeming like every Muslim event, trying to sell oil that should not be selling oil. And it's like, you see him, he's like, come on, some of this oil. It's like the oldest oil in the world. There's no scent to it. And they always want to put something on you like that, like you're going to buy it. Brother's like, let me see your hand. I'm like, I'm over here. It's like a stick up. He's like, no, but let me see your hand. And he put some oil on there, and it smelled like 15-day-old hot dog water. I mean, it stank. And the brother was like looking at me to lie about the smell of the oil. He's like, you like that, don't you? I was like, hell no. He's like, no, brother, you like that. We said, what kind of, he said, guess what kind of oil that is? I was like, dude, motor oil. That's what I'm feeling. Got me smelling like a tune-up over here. And we're going to give a shout out to some people. Truth Conductor. Thank you so much, brother Truth Conductor. Thank you for rolling through, sir. I salute you. All right. Brother Jabril out of Charlotte. Thank you, sir. The Adon mix. Yeah, it needs to be a time limit on some of the Adons. So I'm like, yo, dude, we praying Fajr, but we about 12 minutes from Zur. That's happened before. All the way from Indonesia. Thank you so much, sis. I appreciate your well wishes, dua. Best of wishes to you and your family. What is it? Like 5 in the morning over there in Indonesia. Make the most of your day. Make the most of your day, inshallah. Thank you so much. But, I do miss some things about Eid. And I think it's still guest appearances from people you haven't seen all year long. It's the same thing in church, man. Christianity, people show up for Christmas and people show up for Easter. Other than that, man, you can put out a missing persons report, like a 6 to 7 month missing persons report. Like, I mean, we see people coming in the mosque, man. It's like a Bigfoot sighting. Like, man, like you're thinking, did this dude get captured by a UFO? Did he do some time? I mean, that's the amount of time from when you saw him to the other time. But it's fun, man. People trying to get their lives right. And I understand that. People trying to get their lives right, get their spirits right. And I commend it. However, for whatever reason, it is funny. It is funny. I miss the kids coming out. And I miss people who bring their kids to the masjid and can't control them. That's always fun. You can't control your kids. I can only imagine the mayhem that's going on in houses right now. I'm just talking about the mayhem going on in houses right now. A lot of people have learned something about themselves. Like with stay at home, a lot of people have learned that with education, that maybe you should have studied a little bit more. Maybe, you can't help your kids. Maybe you can't help your kids. Your kids, hey, can you help me with this trigonometry? It's like, hey, I can't help you with the trigonometry. Don't ask. You also may learn something about your kids. Working through their homework, you'll be like, hey, Daddy, what grade I got? It's like summer school. It's like, we're going to have to get you a trade, son. Because sometimes, you know how it is. Back in the day, you could say things to your kids like, you ain't going to make it. But that requires a lot of counseling and child protection services might come to their house. Remember, you could be that honest. I miss that, man. Like in the masjid back in the day, you could be entirely honest. Like, I miss the old dudes, man. I'm talking about the dudes with no filter. Those Muslims, like, them old Muslims that just came out of the first and they were still rough. And this is before, people tried to push, I don't want to be taken wrong. Religion is important, but for African Americans back in the day, the religion and the belief of Islam was this thing, and it had this appeal that it appealed to the ordinary guy, the everyday guy with everyday problems, dealing with his woman, his family, his job, things like that. And that was the magic, when we talked about Islam back in the day. It appealed to, so we didn't really get into, I'm speaking a lot about myself, really didn't get into sacred text, the hierarchy or higher end of religion, because you took your shahada, you were living it. When you dealt with a situation, when you went to the masjid, you were in the hood. You took your shahada, when you came out of the masjid, you were still in the hood. And I miss some of those guys, man. I mean, I like, like when I took my shahada, and I've said this before, I took my shahada back in the day. I didn't know certain things. I just know I wanted to be Muslim. I took my shahada. Nobody told me about a calendar. They told me about pillars of Islam. They didn't tell me to look at a calendar. So I wound up taking my shahada like 2 weeks before Ramadan, which is the dumbest thing. I could have held out that 45 days and worked up to it, but I did not do it. I'm just telling you what happened. I didn't do it. So I can hear people yelling Allahu Akbar from the back of the masjid, but I heard distinct laughter. Like, like that. They didn't even get the Akbar. That's what it sounded like. It's supposed to be a takbir, but it's more like, he ain't gonna make it. And the jokes they used to play. Like, we don't do pranks anymore in the masjid. Everybody's so serious. Like, when I took my shahada, I was already I was a comedian already, and brother makes his whole thing And it's the best prank that's ever happened to me. Well, two pranks. The first one was this one in the masjid. And I'm going to give this out. This is my main man right here checking out the show. Big T. Big T. We only got one more day, everybody. One more day. I go in this masjid, and you have these old brothers who sit in the back seats. They don't sit on the floor. They sit in the back seats. And I call it the jury section. I don't know what you guys call it. I call it the jury section. And a brother called me over, and he's like, I'm trying to fit in. New Muslim, about a week and so I'm trying to fit in. He's like, come on over here, young brother. And I come over, and I'm like, yeah, how you doing, sir? I said, look, assalamu alaikum. I'm trying to be all good. He's like, yeah. And I'm like, well, okay, you brushed off my salams. Okay. That's before I ever knew it was salams. We know it as greetings. I didn't know it as salams. Did you give salams? We just knew it was a greeting. This brother goes, so you're a young Muslim? I said, yeah. He goes, I heard you're a comedian. He goes, yeah. He says, so you're out in the nightclubs? I said, yes, sir. He said, this means you see women. I said, yeah, don't you see women? He said, no, sir. He said, I see the mercy of Allah. I said, okay, I'll see the mercy of Allah. He said, no, brother, I'm telling you about life. He says, what you need to do to help yourself. So when you see these women, he said, what you need to do is lower your gaze. That's the first thing I remember. Lower your gaze. I was like, what do you mean? He said, lower your gaze. I was like this, He goes, lower. And I'm like looking down. He goes, lower. And I'm looking down like, is this right? He goes, yeah. He says, whenever you see a woman in your presence, you should lower your gaze to that distance. And I'm like, okay, all right. So he goes, when you're down, he said, the only thing I want to hear out of your mouth when a woman's around and I'm around, he goes, I only want to hear, what pretty feet you have, sister. And I'm like, okay, this brother is deep. I'm thinking this is deep. I'm getting all these concepts. Little I know he's just playing me, right? So I'm in the masjid one day, and he says, young brother, come over here. And I go, all right. He goes, this is my granddaughter. And I'm like, assalamu alaikum. He goes, my granddaughter's a pretty woman. I said, okay, brother. He goes, look at her. I said, no. He says, I almost got you. He said, you need to lower your gaze. I said, okay, I'm lowering my gaze. He goes, she's pretty though. I said, brother, I'm lowering my gaze. He said, she's pretty. Say it. I said, no. He said, say it. I said, okay. And I said, sister, what pretty feet you have? The whole masjid bust out. Why don't we have fun like that anymore? Why don't we have fun like that anymore? I mean, the joke. I mean, just the joking and just the feeling and the fun of being Muslim, being alive, whether it's being Christian or whatever. I'm just talking about the feeling of being alive, being thankful. I mean, having a good time. I mean, come on, folks. I've had some good ones. We've always had some funny joints, man. I mean, just people who say the darndest things. I mean, like during the show one time. Some people don't like comedy, right? Hey, what's going on, brother Alfred? Walaikum assalam rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. I'm a comedian, and I know some people don't like. What's going on, brother? I'm doing well, man. Thank you so much, man. Much love to the UK. So I realize people don't like comedy. Comedians, there's a whole lot of back and forth about your level of laughter. People shouldn't see your back molars. I'm like, dude, when people laugh, people are looking in your mouth. I'm like, what are you doing a show at a dentist's office? What are you talking about? If and I get it all. If you knew what I knew, you would not be laughing. I'm like, dude, take a chill pill. Take a Xanax. Get out my face. All right, so this is the funniest thing ever said to me as a heckle. All right, I'm doing a show. The show's doing well. This brother's agitating the whole time. I've been ignoring him. This is the funniest thing I heard. So, the second funniest thing. I'm doing a show, and the brother just jumps up and he goes, you're not funny than Isha. I'm like, who taught you how to heckle? Like, I'm not trying to compare myself to a fard prayer, brother. That's all I'm saying, right? The funniest one was after the show. Okay, after the show. So I'm doing the show, and it's a thing. I won't say it's a. I would say it was a characteristic of Prophet Muhammad, peace and blessings be upon him. He made time for children, and all my heroes made time for kids, and I make time for kids after the show, right? So he had kids, and children can be shy when they're approaching you. They want you to sign something, to take a picture. Parents are like, get over there. And it's like, easy, I got it. And I had a little girl, and, I'm talking to her, asking about school. There's a guy over in the corner, man. He's just agitated. I'm like, He's like this. I'm like, what is this about? And you know, I'm from that old school. You agitating. I'm like, somebody need to get on him and make sure he's okay, you know, because things happen. All right. So I send somebody over. They tell me he's all right. He wants to talk to me. And I'm like, all right. So I'm talking to these kids and he keeps, you know, trying to bust in line. I'm like, dude, these are kids. Not cool. So the brother's like, I said, look, I said, ask somebody, can you take the kids over? Let me make sure this guy's all right. I go, brother, how can I help you? He goes, you work, don't you? I was like, yeah, I just did a show. He goes, you make money, huh? So I'm thinking this dude's going to maybe rob me, but it's pretty bad because it's in the middle of a bunch of people. You don't rob somebody in the middle of a bunch of people, right? So the guy goes, let me ask you about your finances. I'm like, this is weird. I go, brother, what did you want to ask me? Just get to it. He goes, when you go to the bank, he goes, do you put your money in Sharia compliant banking or do you put your money in Shaitan's bank? I'm stunned by the question. I'm like, what? He goes, do you put your money in Sharia compliant banking or in Shaitan's bank? I was like, dude, I put it in Shaitan's bank. I'm saying I get interest in there. I get a calendar every year. You know, if I can get that over here, I'm good. All right, he leaves. He doesn't like it. So I'm like, you know, the weirdness of people sometimes just makes you laugh. Like it makes me chuckle sometimes. Like it literally makes me chuckle. So this Friday, I call this, you know, we're gonna call it Friday Funnies because this sometimes, man, sometimes you just gotta loosen up. You know, I miss seeing the Nasheed that got up there to sing his heart out. He had good intentions, but he had no voice. I miss that. You know what I mean? I miss the brother. I miss being with a group of brothers and we're praying and the line is off center. It's crooked. You know why? Because somebody lining up, you know, shoulder to shoulder, foot to foot. One brother lined up at the edge of this brother's stomach and it just threw the whole. I'm like, we lined up on his obesity. Okay, that's wrong. Tell the truth though. Every once in a while, we do line up on a brother's stomach as opposed to where his foot is. I'm being honest. Now listen, it's the end of our show. I decided to wear a new hat because you know what? It was Friday Funnies. My other hats are comedian hats. Shout out to Wiggins. I'm always gonna wear Wiggins hats. That's what it is. But I thought it'd be funny to wear a bucket hat and talk about funny stuff. You know what I mean? Just talk about funny stuff. You know, next time your wife, your old lady goes, you know, this is what you do. You want to have some fun. You say, go to your wife or your intended, go, hey, go, honey, listen, I've been thinking about it. You and I need to practice social distancing. And she goes, what do you think we should do? Tell her, I want a divorce. Hey, don't blame your marriage on me. Don't kill the messenger. Okay, you're going to probably kill the messenger. You guys aren't tell. But listen, got to get out of here. Thank you, brother. Appreciate you. Got to get out, and I got to give a shout out to my man Solo. What's going on, sir? That's a big scholar right there. I like that man right there. And listen, I want you guys to have a great weekend. We will be back with the Shout Out Show on tomorrow, on Saturday. I have decided that I'm going to go ahead and keep this going for a while. We're going to switch the format, but I'm thinking maybe for another week, we're going to do this, and then we're going to roll it over. And inshallah, you know, this is going to be something that's going to keep going. I appreciate everybody that tunes into the Shout Out Show. Wow, I'm 5 minutes over because I'm just enjoying myself. And the next time you see Donald Trump take the hydroxychloroquine, just look and go, alhamdulillah.